What's up everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I love and hate about Sweden. So if this is something that interests you, stay tuned and let's dive right into it. The first thing I love and hate about Sweden is the weather. Now, when I first came to Sweden, it was June, it was nice, warm weather, it was extremely awesome. I mean, I thought this place was absolute paradise. For those of you that don't know, Sweden is actually at the same latitude as Alaska. So in those summer months, the sun is out almost the entire day. We would go out to parties and the sun would not set until midnight. And as we're coming home from the parties at 3 in the morning, the sun would be rising for the next day. It was absolutely amazing to have that much daylight, warm weather, walk around in a t-shirt and shorts. I mean, I absolutely loved it. But now I'm here in Sweden and it is February and it is a little bit cold and a little bit dark. Luckily, the worst is over. In December, on the shortest day of the year, December 21st, the sun went down between 2:30 and 3, and it wouldn't come up the next day until 10. So we had some really short daylight hours, and that was really tough in the beginning to go to work when it was dark and come home from work and it's still dark. And I talk to Swedes who have been living here their whole life, and they say, yep, this is just something that you never really get used to. But I have to say, I absolutely love Sweden in the summertime, and in the wintertime, it's just something that I guess I'm gonna have to learn to deal with at the moment. But luckily the worst is over and we're gonna be heading into spring, which I'm super excited about, and we're getting a little bit more daylight every day. Now the sun is up to about, it won't set until 4:30, which is much better than 2:30 on those shortest days. It can drive you a little bit crazy. So that is the first thing that I love and hate about Sweden. I absolutely love the weather in the summertime, but the winter months can be kind of tough to cope with. The second thing I love and hate about Sweden are the benefits versus the taxes. Now in Sweden, there are so many benefits in this country, from free healthcare, free college education, so many things. Those are the 2 that really stand out to me, but there are just so many things and benefits here that are great for the people. But on that flip side, the people in Sweden do pay much higher taxes. Now, at my current job as a teacher here in Sweden, my salary is roughly equivalent to what I'd be making in the US. However, that is before taxes. Now, in the US, I'm in that 30% tax bracket, but I only get taxed at 30% on the small amount of money that I would be making that is in that tax bracket. But here in Sweden, I get taxed 31% over my entire salary. So I pay a lot more in taxes here in Sweden because 31% pretty much straight up on whatever money I make every month goes straight to taxes. And in the US, it's only that 30% on that top amount of money that I make. So my net tax rate in the US, I think, falls between 15 and 17% depending on how much I make in a certain year. So I pay way more taxes here in Sweden, which is kind of a bummer, but they do get a lot of benefits here, which is a benefit. So that is definitely something that I love and hate about Sweden. The benefits are absolutely awesome, but they do pay for it. Nothing is actually free. You do pay higher taxes, but you do get more for those higher taxes that you pay. On a side note, one benefit here in Sweden that is absolutely mind-blowing to me is that the government pays you every month when you have a kid, and you get a lot of time off if you're a parent. So for every kid you have, you can take up to a year off of paternity leave. And paternity leave, that is just a mind-blowing concept to me, that if you're the father of a child, you can take time off to actually be with your family. Absolutely just crazy. In the US, my mom took 7 years off to raise my brother and I without getting paid, and we had to live just on my dad's salary for the family of 4. But we survived, and it's definitely possible. But it's just so nice that here in Sweden, the government really takes care of you in that way, so that if you want to have that family time and take that paternity leave, it's so nice to have. The third thing that I love and hate about Sweden is how expensive everything is versus the amount of free stuff that you get. So when I go to the grocery store or when I go get a haircut, for example, things are much more expensive than I'm used to in the States. Especially with right now, the crown to dollar ratio is about 8-to-1. And so it's not uncommon for like a haircut, for example, to be 300 crowns. Well, if you do the math on that, that haircut is like close to $40, or a lot of things like if you go out and order a beer, $10 beers are not something that is uncommon here in Sweden. So there's a lot of things in Sweden that are just very, very expensive, from food, from services, eating out. Now you don't have to pay taxes and tip on eating out, but the food prices eating out are still very, very expensive. So that is one thing that kind of sucks about living here. But on the positive side, there are a lot of things that you get for free here in Sweden. Like as a teacher, I get free lunch with the students every day. All the kids at school get free lunch every day. In America, most of the kids and teachers, if they want to eat lunch at school, they have to pay for it. In the teacher's lounge at school, there's free coffee. I went and got my haircut today and they offered me coffee for free. There's a lot of activities and social things that you can do too that don't cost any money. Like in the summer when the pools are open, most of those pools you can go in for free, at least here in Norrköping. And there are a lot of activities like the ice rink. You can go in and skate for free here in Norrköping. Just if you look up the hours online and they've got certain opening hours, you can go and do all those activities for free, which in America, it's much harder to come by and experience those free activities, because I feel like everybody in America is looking to make money. So that is something that is a little bit different, and it's positive in one way because there are a lot of free things to do, but the things that you do have to pay for are usually much more expensive. So those are 3 things that I absolutely love and hate about Sweden. All 3 of those things are kind of good, but they also have a negative side. So it's like wherever you live, there's going to be positives and negatives. Sweden is by far not a perfect place, but I've been really happy that I've been able to experience living here. And there's definitely pros and cons wherever you go. There's things I love and hate about living in America, and there's things I love and hate about living in Sweden. There is no perfect place. So that is something to keep in mind, but I've just been really, really happy to see all those cultural differences and experience all that they have to offer here in Sweden. And I think Sweden is a pretty amazing country when you take everything into account. If you're not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe because I've got tons of great information coming about my experiences here in Sweden and tips for you guys if you guys are looking to travel and experience different cultures. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.